morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Mavens of Manufacturing. I have with me today Angela Pitzo from Ace Metal Crafts. She is the Vice President of Manufacturing. Hello, Angela. Thank you for coming onto the show today and having a chat with us. How are you doing today?
Good. Thank you for having me.
So when we had our conversation, I initially reached out to your mother, Jean, and her name was given to me by Jeff and Nancy from, oh my gosh, I totally had a brain fart right there. Yeah, there we go. Thank you. Oh, I need more coffee. But they provided your name and your mom's name, and I just was so interested in your story because she owns Ace Metal Crafts, and you basically grew up within manufacturing, and your plans are to kind of take the helm when she steps down. So can you just give us a little background information on, what it was like growing up in manufacturing and what it was about manufacturing that you fell in love with, that you're, willing to step up when your mom steps down, and some of the things that you plan for Ace in the future?
Sure. My grandfather actually purchased Ace Metal Crafts in the early 80s. And he and my mom worked together for about 6 years before he turned over the reins to her and he was ready to retire. And my mom took over at the helm and was able to grow the business just exponentially. In 2011, I was able to come on, and I came out of Illinois State with my business degree and was looking for a job. And at that time, I was struggling a little bit. I was looking at a lot of different corporate places for jobs and just wasn't feeling right to me. So my mom said, why don't you come to Ace, get your start in our purchasing department. And even though I had grown up with my mom, being in the business, I didn't even know what a nut or a bolt was. So I was able to learn a lot on the job. So starting in that purchasing position, I worked in that for a few years. And then I was able to move into my next position as a value stream leader, which is really just an operational supervisor position. So I got to be on the shop floor a lot, which I really enjoyed. And since then, I've moved now to this Vice President of Manufacturing role, which I'm really enjoying. The thing that I enjoy most about my job is every day is different. Ace is a job shop, so we don't have a product of our own. We are the manufacturing arm for our customers. So we get to see new blueprints, new equipment coming through every day, and then we get to build that from scratch. So I spend a lot of my time in the office, but I get to spend a lot of time on the shop floor too, and away from the desk, away from the computer, which I really enjoy. But probably the biggest thing that makes me want to take over the helm is the people that Ace has. We have a great team of people here, and I wouldn't want to see the company get sold to anyone and not know what would happen to our employees. So most of all, I want to be here for them. I love being around them. We have some spectacular people, brilliant fabricators. So I'm excited to have a career side by side with them.
So outside of what your experience was now, do you think that you would have ever been interested or as interested in manufacturing if it wasn't something that you grew up with?
Probably not. Unfortunately, even though my mom had the business, I wasn't exposed to engineering. I wasn't exposed to hands-on fabrication or machining. I was going through my normal schooling, and at my Catholic high school, they didn't have wood shop. They didn't have any kind of trade schooling. So I was really kind of sheltered from it. So without Ace, I don't think I would be in this, but thank God I am, because I started in that purchasing role and I never left. I never wanted to look for another job. I enjoy it here so much.
That's so interesting too, because when I grew up in high school, even in middle school, we did have like wood tech, and we also had like ComEd or cooking and sewing class. I was really terrible at sewing. I actually broke the sewing machine, and the teacher was really mad at me. And I was just like, I didn't sign up for this class. You guys made me take it. I'm not paying for that. But wood tech was just a lot different for me, because just using the lathes and the machines and the drills to build things out of wood, it was really interesting to see that whole process come together and be really proud of what you made. And it's just kind of sad because it seems like some schools will put a lot of attention on the sporting side of things instead of like the trades and the academics. So I know that's like part of the main conversation when closing the skills gap. They want to bring that trade conversation back to middle school and high schools to really get the attention of not just students, but their parents as well, to explain what the opportunities are. So as a manufacturer, you guys do, I saw on your website, you guys do a lot of like steel fabrication, and within that, I'm assuming there's a lot of opportunities for positions. So my next question to you is, what are some of the biggest challenges as a manufacturing in the metal space are you experiencing? Whether it's, you know, getting customers in the door or finding the right talent, what are some of your biggest challenges right now that are inhibiting your growth to move forward or to grow?
The biggest challenge for us for this year, and it has been for many years now, is finding the skilled talent. The customers seem to come, and this year especially, there was high demand for our stainless steel fabrications. So the customers are there and they have the demand, but it becomes hard for us to grow without having enough people to make these parts. And that's where we're struggling, is finding these skilled laborers.
I know that when we initially talked to you before today, you were describing a scenario where you had some people come in, but once they were through the doors, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to stay there. Can you explain what was some of the challenges with some of those new hires that you had, but then, you know, after like a certain amount of time, they just decided, hey, I can't stay here anymore, and they left? What was that scenario like?
Yeah, so we've had a few scenarios. One that happens commonly is for our welding positions that are open. When we interview, it's tough because we can test a welder and have them lay a bead, and most welders can lay a beautiful bead. But for ACE, we need you to do more than just laying that bead. They need to be able to fabricate the part. And when I say fabricate, they need to be able to look at a blueprint and see a stack of parts that we've laser cut and formed, and they need to have the spatial awareness in their mind to kind of see the sequence that it should be put together in. Because a lot of times, the biggest part of welding is controlling the heat, especially when welding stainless. The parts, the heat, it'll just warp the part. So they have to be really able to have that spatial awareness and, okay, I'm going to do this piece first, then this, and that way my part will come out to the right dimensions. It's not going to move all over on me. So a lot of times after we, you know, a month or two that we have these team members on the payroll, we start to learn that they had the great bead, but they don't have that fabrication experience where they're able to do that sequencing of the parts. And but we try very hard to have some of our more skilled welders work with them. We do kind of a mentor program, teaming people up so that we can kind of try and home grow them, because they're not out there. We don't find our great welders walking in here looking for jobs. They already have jobs if they can do this. So that becomes tough.
You did mention your mentor program, so I would like to hear a little bit more about that opportunity. What are some of the things that you do to set up a successful program when new people come in? How does your selection process go with the mentors? And what are some of the things that you're looking to do more in terms of mentorship? So
usually the way we select our mentor, we look for somebody that has experience. They show that they're able to hit the times on the jobs and they're able to meet the quality that we're expecting. And then we combine that with do we have space near them? Because usually we want our mentee to come in and be right next to them at a welding table. And of course we can always make room, but sometimes it's just easy. He's got an open table. You get to be our mentor. It can be as simple as that. Other times, some of our guys right now are training 2 people. So then we start looking for others, 2 people's too many. We can't add any more to you. So we look for some other people. And the process that we allow them, we bring those mentees that we selected then in the interview process. We let them come meet the person, take them out to our shop floor, show them around, and then have them do these welding tests that we set up for them. After the welding tests, we have them do some blueprint reading and some shop math testing. And then that kind of gives us a baseline of should we offer this person a job. And then once they come in, it's not really a set in stone mentorship program. We're trying to get there and trying to make it a little more regimented. At like week 1, you learn this, week 2. Right now, a lot of the responsibility falls on that mentor. They're going to be picking the jobs for you. They're going to be kind of walking you through each step of the job, and they kind of are the ones that are deciding how far they can advance and when they can get into the tougher jobs.
So as a woman in manufacturing and being invited here on the show, I've mentioned that one of my main missions is to help not just close the skills gap, but also try to close the gender gap and get a little bit more women into the sector. And I feel like from all of the conversations that I've had, a lot of women who aren't joining the sector or have been in the sector and decided to leave, one thing is that they really don't know what opportunities are available within engineering and manufacturing. And then if they do come into the sector, there's always that sense of like, okay, there's not really a lot of women here. Yeah. There's not really a lot of people that look like me. And then they might feel like there's no room for their voice in certain conversations or situations, or no opportunities for them to move up the ladder. And you're a great example of how, you know, I started in shipping and purchasing, and then you moved your way up to the ladder, and you have goals for yourself. And when we talked about mentorship last time, you did mention your Gadget Girls Camp. Yeah. And I just really want to dive deep into that and hear more of what that actually is, what the mission is, and what your role is within that camp.
Sure. So that Gadget Girls Camp that ACE partakes in is run by Triton College. Okay. I believe it's either a 1 or 2 week camp for girls of all ages. And they happen to make a stop at ACE one of those days during camp. They go to a few other women-owned manufacturers as well. But I believe what they're trying to do is just expose girls at a younger age to engineering, to blueprint reading, to manufacturing, to tools. And when they visit ACE, we try and show them and explain things in a way that is simple enough for them to grasp, but also we try and make some products here with them so they can kind of see how our shop floor works and get them excited about being able to have a concept and then be able to bring it to life and make parts. So we've had success with that. We love when they come by and stop by, and we can get them excited about manufacturing and thinking about careers in engineering and manufacturing or programming, stuff like that.
What are some of their main questions when they come to ACE? Are they talking more about like the processes that you provide your customers? Or are some of them asking other questions like what it's like to be a woman in manufacturing, or what sort of career opportunities? What are some of those main questions they have for you?
So the last couple times I've been involved, the girls have been pretty young. They're probably 3rd, 4th, 5th grade girls. Wow. So the questions aren't really there yet for them. I think they're just getting exposed. But a lot of the camp counselors are actually high school students that they have a little bit more of questions, and they're thinking about engineering for themselves, and that's why they're getting involved in this camp. So they do. They some of them will leave us like their name and number. Hey, I'm coming to see you after college when I have my degree. Nice. So they will ask questions like, what does the job look like here for an engineer? And we're happy to show them and explain and try and get them pumped about that career.
So when I was doing some research on ACE Metal Crafts, Jeff actually sent me 2 videos that you guys have surrounding your company culture. And it was really refreshing to see how close your mom is to everyone that works at ACE Metals. Like, she has a really great connection. Yeah. And I'm assuming that your connection with everyone that works there is as strong as well, because I see similarities with you and your mom.
Mhm.
And I just wanted to know, what are some of your values that you try to live out on a daily basis at Ace Metal to make all of your employees want to come to work every day?
Sure. So at ACE, we have 5 values that we teach as soon as we onboard employees, and then we repeatedly teach every month in our value stream team meetings. And those are care, clarity, discipline. Now I'm forgetting, I'm on the spot. Trust, respect, care, clarity, and discipline. So we try not only just to teach our employees that about those values, but we've also come up with actions on, this is how we think we want to show how we live these values. These are the actions we take. We share our knowledge. We return our tools back to their proper owner. All those kind of things we try to lay out for them. Because overall, yes, ACE makes parts, but what our deeper purpose is really to lift others up and create joy for our employees through being kind, showing them kindness.
And one of the things that you said last time too when we talked is that your company focuses more on skill rather than profit, to help build and maintain like a positive work culture. So can you dive deeper into what exactly that means to you in Ace Metal Crafts? Sure.
I think the purpose of the company was really cultivated through my mom. And as I've been here for 10 years now, I'm learning and seeing that you can bust your butt every day here working to service our customer, which exactly that's what we want to do, and we want to make money on those parts that we're making. But our higher purpose and what gets me more excited is to be here with these people and allowing them to come to work and have a psychologically safe work environment. So they feel free to be themselves when they're here. They feel free to voice their ideas and feel like they're going to be heard and listened to. I mean, don't get me wrong, everybody that's here enjoys making these parts, but our higher purpose is really to have this great work environment for people to come, be able to be themselves, enjoy themselves, kind of a very family environment at ACE.
So last week I spoke with a woman, her name is Lale Lavelle, and she works at Seagate Technology. And one of the things that we touched on was failure. And she explained, her experience with the word failure and how, it was really hard for her to understand that it's okay to fail when she was first starting out in her career. And I think everyone can relate to that. And I think that's a big concern amongst younger generations, where they don't really know how to make mistakes without feeling really, really bad about it. Mm-hmm. And I'm just curious how you at Ace Metals and everyone there, how you either embrace failure or work through it together to let people know that, hey, yeah, you made a mistake. It's okay. That's what happens. How do you guys work through those kinds of instances?
It's definitely a topic that comes up over and over, especially as we get newer employees that have come from maybe more toxic cultures. They'll come to ACE and they'll be very fearful and try and hide their mistakes, right? We try and just show care and kindness in those moments and try and understand how we could have done better for them. It's not just them failing. The team fails when someone makes a mistake, right? So we really encourage people to speak up, and we have a problem-solving culture. Like, how can we solve this problem for you? It's okay, it happened once. How can we make sure it never happens again? And we try and we never are punishing people for mistakes. Obviously, we do hold people accountable. If you're making the same mistake over and over, there's going to be a conversation. But if you're a new welder or a new engineer and you're just learning, we know mistakes are going to be made, and we're okay with that. We want you to learn from it. We want to learn from it too. We want to move on the next day and keep getting better.
So for anybody that's listening right now, for any woman that's maybe considering a career in manufacturing but doesn't really quite know what manufacturing or engineering is or the opportunities it provides, or even younger women in high school who are about to go off to college, what are some of the advice or tips that you can provide them when, considering manufacturing as a career pathway?
I think you have to be brave and courageous because, like you said, you will encounter a lot of workplaces where it's male dominated. But I think women have just as many great ideas and just as much talent as men. So just be brave and follow your heart. If in your heart this is something you think you want to do, I say you go for it. Don't be fearful. Yeah.
So as we're closing up our conversation, Angela, my last question is, throughout our conversation, was there something in specific that you wanted me to ask that I didn't ask? Like you were just itching for me to ask that question? And if so, what was that question I didn't ask you?
No, I think everything was pretty great. Yeah. Hopefully
Awesome.
We're inspiring some women.
I hope so too. And if anybody wanted to come learn more about Ace Metal Crafts, where would they need to go? And do you guys offer any facility tours that people can come by? And how can they just stop by or drop in, or do you have like a scheduling process you would prefer?
Yes, if they can give us a call, you can go to our website, acemetal.com. Give us a call, and certainly we'd be happy to. I'd be happy to give you a tour myself if you're interested.
Great. Well, Angela, it's been such a pleasure speaking with you, and I appreciate you taking the time. I know you guys are probably busy with everything opening up.
Yes.
I'm super excited. I'm so excited that we can go outside now, enjoy the fresh air, not be scared. So,
thank you so much, Meaghan, for the opportunity.
Well, I want to thank everybody that joined us today for another episode of Mavens of Manufacturing. Please make sure you tune in next week for another episode. If you'd like, come onto our YouTube channel or our Facebook channel and subscribe for all past, present, and future videos. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye, Angela.
Bye-bye.
This episode of Mavens of Manufacturing has been sponsored by Thinker. Thinker helps solve meaningful, measurable problems for organizations that change the world. Grow your business, reduce your risk at thinkerventures.com. That's thinkerventures.com.